Hey, Tyson.
How are you, Nick?
I'm good, Tyson. It's nice and warm outside.
It is. It's been a beautiful day.
It was a lovely day. People were in shorts, and that was weird.
It was weird. Shorts are weird at the best of times. Well, we're here tonight. We're actually got a bit of a change of scenery.
We do
tonight.
have a change of scenery.
We're in the wonderful suburb of St Kilda tonight.
Yeah, Ty's got me out of the house. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. My 20s are flashing back to me.
That's it. So we're, you might hear the surroundings of
a pub downstairs,
trashy Melbourne socialites on grand final week,
which is fun. Oh, God.
Considering it's also a public holiday tomorrow.
It is.
So we might get some louts.
We might get a few,
Yeah, hopefully they don't knock on the door or anything. What are you guys doing?
Darren!
But it is episode number 77.
Number 77. What is the bingo call for this time? 77. Old man's gate. Is that what it is? I don't know. 77 legs or something. It's always legs.
Legs are 7. 7 legs.
7 legs are plenty.
77.
77. Eggs in heaven. I don't know. It's always a rhyme like that.
Eggs in
I don't
heaven.
know. Welcome to Nick Tyson Videotape, by the way.
Yes, episode number 77. Today we're looking at a real favourite of a lot of people.
It is.
And that is Luc Besson's 1997 film.
Legs 11, 77.
This is The Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element.
I'm very excited to be talking about this. This is a movie that I was... I've had a long history with this film.
I've watched this a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I still enjoy watching it.
Do you?
Yeah, just as a bit of a heads up for later.
We'll get into it later, but when was the last time you put on Fifth Element to watch Fifth Element, though?
I think it's been probably 3 or 4 years, I reckon. But
Harley?
Yeah.
Harley Davidson just went past.
But there was a phase, I reckon, where I watched this easily twice a year.
Yeah.
And
for me, I just chucked it on. It was because we were still at the video store, I believe, when this came out. Was I? I had the preview tape, so it was just a chuck on.
Oh, sure.
It was just like, chuck
it's
that
a
back
good
on.
One. Yeah,
chuck it back on. Chuck it back on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that shortly. Nick, this is Nick Tyson Videotape. Welcome aboard, listeners. Hope you're enjoying your week.
I hope you enjoy your weekend.
And I hope you enjoy your long weekend if you're a Melbourneite.
If you're a Melbourneite. If you're not, if it's midweek for you, we'll suck balls.
Yeah, that does suck. Because we all got the day off tomorrow.
We got the day off! But yes, thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
I will run down. You can like us, subscribe us.
Subscribe to us?
Yep. Yeah. You can write a comment, you can write a post, you can... share us. That's the thing.
Yes, share us around,
don't
please.
Don't poke us. We don't like that.
No.
But if you would like to like us on any form of hosting podcast that you're listening to, I know a lot of people that I've realised listen to us on iTunes. I didn't realise that iTunes is the go-to for most people.
Yeah. Unless you're once you kind of get really into podcasts and realise that it's not the greatest app. It does work for quite a while.
Look, it's great.
It's absolutely fine for a while.
If you're watching 2 podcasts, it's great.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're like me and Tyson or my wife or most of the people or the guys at my work, you're 10 deep. You're 10, 15 deep.
Yeah.
So you want to, you chop and change. No, I want a bit of this, I want a bit of that.
But yeah, if you are on the iTunes app, it's very easy just to scroll down and give us a bunch of stars or write a review.
Yep.
But you can do that a heap of other places as well, and we would appreciate all the love you can send our way.
Also on the social media, you can like us on Facebook.
Yeah,
you can rate us on Facebook.
Yeah, you can.
But yeah, we post a lot of stuff, trailers, posters, upcoming episodes on all the social medias. So that's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, if you wish to write us an email, we're at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
That is correct, and we've got a very exciting month coming up just to start spruiking. It is October. Well, it's not yet, but it will be October next week.
That's true.
Which means that our October spookisodes are taking over, and we have a really special month because we get
really excited for this one.
Because just how October works out this year.
That's true.
We're going to get 5 spookisode episodes.
Did we only get 4 last year?
I think we only had 4 last year.
Yeah, 30.
So I'm very pumped about that.
I'm massively
We're going to have 5 completely horror-focused episodes.
That's true.
We're going to be talking about a whole heap of fun stuff, which we'll tell you about.
Should we drop the first one, or we'll leave it for later?
Why don't we leave it for later? But we can say that you're going to be very excited about the things that we're going to be talking about this Halloween. But before we get onto our regularly scheduled feature program for today, should we talk some trailers?
Let's talk trailers.
Everybody's talking trailers. Okay. So probably about 4 hours ago, Nicholas.
Yeah, that's true.
This is fresh. This is hot.
This is hot off the presses.
This is a what do you call it?
This is a phantom drop. No,
maybe. But this is big time, hot off the presses.
Yep.
We're
getting Fox
trailer.
Yeah, sorry, Fox is kind of chucking in the kitchen sink. They're like, well, you know what? We're going to drop X-Men Dark Phoenix.
They did.
You think you can fix me?
Jean, you are not broken.
This is the end, beautiful friend.
The mind is a fragile thing. Takes only the slightest tap to tip it in the wrong direction.
This is the end.
Charles, what did you do?
I had to keep her stable. I protected her.
From the truth? There's another word for that.
I came looking for answers.
You feel like you don't belong here. You don't. They can't begin to comprehend what you are.
She's changing.
And what?
You didn't come here looking for answers. You came here looking for permission. Jean. She's all rage, pain. That's all coming out at once. Jean lost control, but she's still our friend. This is your fault, Charles. The world is on the brink. I'm sorry I didn't stop it sooner. You're always sorry, Charles, and there's always a speech, and nobody cares. There's still hope. Don't do this.
They're right to fear me.
I've seen evil. And I'm looking at it now.
That's where I'll put the trailer. That's a good spot for it.
I figured I was going to pause there.
That's not bad.
Yeah. We did better last week.
Well, Nick, what's your initial reactions first?
Well,
did you enjoy the trailer?
I didn't mind it. It wasn't what I was expecting, Tice. Because coming off the back of Apocalypse, I wasn't 100% on board.
Sure.
I wanted to be. I love Apocalypse. Apocalypse is very much, to me, the ultimate. He's the Thanos of the X-Men.
Yeah,
for
sure.
me.
Absolutely.
Even though it's sort of the same world. But it's not really. But yeah, so this was... So coming off the back of that, I wasn't a huge fan of the Power Ranger style Apocalypse movie that we got. I believe my friend Tyson was the only fan.
I might be the only person in existence.
Going,
yeah.
Yeah. So I was expecting a little bit of that. With this trailer, though, it was a hard gut shot to the soul of this one. I was like, no, this has got something to say. We're kind of ganging up on Charles Xavier here.
Yeah, it looks like that it's good though, because it looks like that it's a movie that actually is going to use more character motivation as its driving force, as opposed to just shaping it around a villain, which is.
Or
Or
powers, for that matter.
Or particular powers.
Yeah.
Which is funny, though, because the X-Men movies, I was just thinking about it before, they've actually avoided that kind of... I think that can be dangerous. Like, the Batman movies have this habit of being... It's the one about this villain.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
And... X-Men movies have kind of avoided that, really, their whole way through, except for Apocalypse. Apocalypse was the first time that there was really... we're building a movie around the villain.
Yeah, that's true.
And as far as most people were concerned, it was not successful.
Yeah. See, Days of Futures Past, they didn't do that. It was more focused on Logan's time traveling and an hourglass running down.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're losing time in the future.
Old school race against the clock kind of stuff.
Which was great. I really liked that element of Days of Futures Past. Ending, a bit questionable, but I like the premise. It was really good.
Oh, I think I do love that movie. I think it's really excellent. And so it's good to see that they've gone back. They've kind of noticed that, okay, by building it around a villain, I think we're maybe not doing what we could potentially do best.
Yep.
And it looks like they've taken a step away from that and said that no, it'll be a character-driven story.
Yep.
It seems to be a bit of a corruption of one of the characters that they love.
Yep.
That we all, it's a
We know the
classic
story.
X-Men
Yeah.
character. We know that
Yeah.
the Dark Phoenix story is probably the most famous of the X-Men
I would
storylines, I would say.
Apart from maybe the future, where they're like Days of Futures Past, what that did, that future part of that movie. That's the other storyline.
The Sentinels, Rise of the Sentinels.
Yeah.
So it's having said that, I mean, obviously it is still based around, I guess, who the villain is going to be, being Jean Grey, but I think by focusing on the effect that that's going to have on the heroes, I think it's taking a better angle, it means that we can go back to, spending time with the characters that I think we really bonded with during First Class and Days of Future Past,
which we just did. See episode
75 or 4,
yeah,
maybe?
we just did it
exactly,
which was good. Coming off, you hit the nail on the head. You want to see these characters. You want to feel for these characters again. I felt you lost that a bit in Apocalypse.
You do.
You didn't really care for them that much.
And look, Apocalypse is a great big dumb cartoon.
Yeah,
which, as far as I'm concerned, but it's not. We came off the back of some pretty thoughtful comic book movies, that were really, really kind of concerned with the characters.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see it kind of going back in that direction. It looks. I like the aesthetic of it all. Looks like quite good. The lighting's really nice and warm, and the special effects shots are, which usually can be a bit shoddy in trailers, are pretty solid. I think
that's true.
So I'm quietly confident.
You're quietly confident.
Yeah.
Well, another thing, Tyson, is that this is Fox's last X-Men movie. Is it? Hang on a minute. They shot it. Is Disney distributing? No. Does Disney have anything to do with this?
So the story was, here's where we can get into the surroundings of this, because I think the surroundings of this are more important than the actual film itself.
Right.
I'm kind of amazed that they just went ahead and said, "Oh no, it's still happening. Here's the trailer." Because the last that we heard was that now that the Disney Fox acquisition is happening, that they were not interested in releasing these last two X-Men movies, the other one being New Mutants.
Right.
Which we had a trailer for.
The trailer was
ages ago.
So good, though.
We really liked that trailer. Then that movie got pushed back like almost, I think, a full 12 months. I think it was meant to be out by now.
Right.
And got pushed further and further back, and reshoots, all that, blah, 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 blah. So it was kind of considered that we were just never going to see these movies.
Yeah.
Or Disney would just
maybe
release them quietly on maybe on their streaming service or straight to VOD. Just say, look, here's the movie it is. It's no longer what we're doing, though.
Bloody blah, blah, blah. If you want.
Watch it if you like, but there's going to be a new one in 12 months.
Yeah.
Which will be the Disney X-Men.
X-Men. What do you think they're going to do there? Just to pause on that. Do you think they're going to recast? Do you think they're going to go with this cast?
No, they'll have to recast.
You reckon they'll recast?
Yeah, I think they'll start from scratch.
But I like this Charles and Magneto.
It's like a cross between Magneto and the guy from Zoolander that Will Ferrell plays, Magneto or whatever.
Magato.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, did the pin get in the way of your ass? No. Fair deal.
Yeah, so I find it fascinating that it's just like, nah, still happening.
Gonna chuck it out there.
Here it is.
And you can tell just from this trailer, Tyson, that this is... I got a very no. This is our last hurrah with X-Men. We're going to give you the best that we can do. I feel like they've taken their time with this one. They've really kind of had a play, had a good look at script, special effects, make sure everything works.
Well, it looks like they're trying to do something. They're trying to do something more than what they perhaps have to in this circumstance. Like, if you think about it, they could quite easily just go, look, here it is. X-Men's over. We've made our bazillion dollars selling ourselves to Disney.
Yep.
We don't need to worry about this. But it actually looks like that they're caring about crafting a reasonably entertaining story.
Exactly.
Like something that is more weighty and more serious is the wrong word, but more, carries more
character driven rather than
for sure. So I like this trailer.
Fair deal. Do we know who the director is?
Director Simon Kinberg, I believe.
He looks like from this he is just a producer, possibly a writer.
So he's written
some things.
Fair bit of stuff.
Oh, wow, he's written a lot of things.
Yeah, and he's sometimes the person that is blamed for the worst things in the X-Men universe. Because he's written some doozies, I believe.
He wrote Jumper, if that had a script.
Hello, Jumper.
Wow. That's
a flashback to 2006 or something.
Yeah. Jesus, that was intense. And your favourite, 2015's The Fantastic Four.
Fan Four Stick. Yeah, which,
Watch that again. I'm going to watch that again. I'm going to give it a shot.
I gave it a shot, and I stand by the fact that I think it's half a pretty good movie. It's half a garbage pile.
And then the budget got ripped out from under them.
But it's got some wild shit in it, man. That entire sequence where Dr. Doom is just ripping shit up.
Really?
It's
to be
amazing.
honest, I don't remember.
You don't remember it? I think it was so intense, and it was kind of like, I can't believe this.
Hey.
I couldn't believe it existed in like a family comic book movie. It was like straight out of a slasher or something. It was intense. Anyway, so I look, and we've talked about this I think last week. We're big fans of this franchise.
We are.
Like, really, there's not, like I said, there's not
Last
really
Stand
a bad
is the
movie
only
among them. Last Stand is not great, but it has some pretty cool stuff in it.
Origins is what it is. And
pretty bad, but also has some. It's still got Hugh Jackman doing his thing,
and Liv Schreiber, who is
excellent as
Sabretooth.
So there's stuff to like in every one of their movies.
Sure.
I'm pretty excited for this, man. Even if it happens to be the big last hurrah and the thing that sends it kind of, off to Disney.
Yeah.
This would be
Do you think
way.
Disney should kind of maybe take a breather from X-Men before they kick it into Kingdom Gideon?
I don't know, though, because this is the thing. Like, you think that they seem to be pretty quick to do stuff. Like with Star Wars, that was a quick turnaround. Like,
that was huge.
Once the news was released, it was like, oh, hey, and there's going to be a movie in a year.
No, but hang on a minute. When was the last Star Wars?
No, it was.
Do you know what I mean?
But
if anything, we could use more Star Wars.
Yes, and it had been a while, obviously. But the space between them announcing the purchase and then the movie coming out was pretty quick. Yeah, that was. So I don't think they like to twiddle their thumbs. I don't think they would sit on it. I think they would find the characters that can make them some money. Whether it's just Wolverine or maybe a few others.
Yeah, fair deal.
And they'll find ways to incorporate them into what they've got at the moment.
Is the rumour of Gambit still happening? Is that...
Oh, that Gambit movie has had like 17 directors.
Gambit is my favourite X-Men. He's always been my favourite X-Men. Yeah, but nah.
I don't know how a movie's going to work.
Just leave it alone.
Just don't. Once you get to that point where it's been through so many different people...
Yeah.
At what point do you just say, nah, look, it's not going to work? It's like that Crow reboot. I reckon they're onto like their 17th director.
I saw... So, who is the actor that played... who's playing Aquaman?
Jason Momoa. Yeah.
So Momoa got together with... Oh, Jesus, Nicholas, you suck. The Crow writer's name eludes me.
Fuck.
I'll get it. Anyway, James O'Barr.
Thank you.
He got together with him, said, I love The Crow. It's one of my favourites.
Yep.
I love the movie that Brandon Lee did. I would like to redo it with your blessing. He said, yeah, sure, but you're way too big. He goes, no, that's fine. I will slim down to the point of the machine, to the machinist. And, do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then, and we'll do it. And it was so close. I watched Momoa, like his updates, because I follow him on Twitter. And he was like, I'm almost there. And then he came out with a big fans, look, it's been an uphill slog, but sometimes it's better to let it go. And I was like, oh, come on. Because the art drawn for the Crow with him, it was decent. It was decent. There's even, if you Google it, what's the voice of Rocket?
Bradley Cooper.
He was going to be the Crow for a good 5 years.
Yeah,
and there's images of him with the Crow makeup on. And I'm like, what the fuck?
He's a terrible choice for that. That's a terrible choice.
No. Hell no.
I do like Bradley Cooper a lot more now, though, than I used to.
But
he's pretty great now. But he's not right.
He's no.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
What were we talking about? X-Men.
Dark Phoenix. I like that it's just called Dark Phoenix now too.
Yeah, it's not X-Men.
No, they're leaving out the X-Men.
I like what they've done with the X at the end there.
Yes,
that's very good.
Yes, a February release date is worrying.
Really?
February is always a bit of a let's just put it out in February.
Really?
But having said that, we're now getting to that point where the summer releases are pushing earlier and earlier.
Exactly.
I think March
Avengers
is now considered. Well, I think like even earlier than that. I think wasn't it April? It was the end of April this year.
Was it?
Yeah, I think Infinity War was late April.
I feel like because Disney has the monopoly, they'll go, no, we want this here. So they don't pool money. They like to pool their money out. They do it well. They schedule it well. Is what I'm trying to get to the point.
They cover all their bases.
They do. We'll do Pixar here and another Pirates here.
Yeah,
and then we'll do this one here, another superhero here. They don't overlap. They very rarely overlap.
Yeah.
All right, Dark Phoenix, Tice.
Dark Phoenix. I'm pretty excited.
Shall we talk about one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Yeah, I showed Tice this one. I think it got a drop last week.
Just after we recorded, I think you said.
I think I did. It's called Tyrell.
Photographs have just been released by the National Park Service. You remember the dispute about the inaugural crowds. President Trump claimed
How you doing? Nico. Tyler. Hey,
Tyrell. Nice to meet you, man.
Oh, it's actually Tyler, but...
Oh, sorry. No.
I really appreciate you having me.
No, man. A friend of Johnny, a friend of mine.
Oh, happy birthday, Steve. Happy birthday!
So easy.
Nobody knows what that is.
Black accent.
You know what I mean? Come on.
You
have to be more specific than that. No?
All right, you disappeared last night. What's wrong with me going to sleep?
Nice.
You were definitely pretending to fall asleep.
Why are you making it weirder than it already is?
Why is it weird in the first place?
Action! You see, Tyler, you're not the only black man here.
Grab his jacket. Give me his clothes.
I'm dying! Tyler, never trust the white man. They will let you die in the wilderness.
Very good.
Did you like that?
I did like that.
Thank you.
This looks very interesting, Nick.
I would like you to describe to our listeners what the trailer.
The trailer seems to be a little bit misleading because the trailer seems to suggest that it's a horror movie, but
it's got that feel to the trailer, doesn't it?
Yeah, but there's
no one's dying in this.
But I mean, I suppose you don't have to.
That's
necessarily
the thing. You don't
have to have
exactly.
How do you define a horror movie?
Exactly.
But
which is great.
There's one of the critic kind of posts on the trailer itself says, one of the most terrifying non-horror movies I've ever seen. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So
it's intriguing.
It is intriguing. It seems as far as the story is concerned, it's about a young black gentleman who goes on a
boys trip or something?
Just a boys trip or into a cabin drinking, and he's the only person of color there. It's all white guys.
Right.
And there seems to be a kind of a
unsettling, not spoken of,
that kind of weird vibe of it's like everyone is aware that he's the one black guy, but no one wants to talk about it, and he's like everybody's one black friend, and
should we talk about it?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to joke about it?
Exactly.
And it's getting it's really unsettling.
And it's some of the interactions between these characters are very off-putting and really kind of talk to a very contemporary form of racism that I think is
spot on,
is prevalent at the moment. Is that kind of that completely unaware level of racism where you're just going about your business.
And you think that you're not racist, but you are.
But you may very well be,
racist.
and it's simply the unawareness of it that drives it. I think, or the inability to kind of appreciate that something might be racist, and
coming off the back of last year's Get Out,
and this film, one of the critics' lines even references that it is this year's Get Out.
Yeah,
and I did see a lot of similarities. Actually, I thought if this did go the way of horror, it actually could be up for a lawsuit. But because it seems to stay more as like a psychological kind of thing, where the character himself, Tyrell, whose actual name is Tyler, and I think so that's kind of funny that the title of the film is actually Tyrell, which is one of the first off-putting kind of...
No, my name's Tyler.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh...
When someone's first reaction is to call the black guy Tyrell.
Yeah.
So that you can already feel that real kind of awkwardness in these character interactions. And I'm not sure if it's going to heighten to a level of full thriller, or whether or not it's just going to stay simmering under the surface and
Yeah,
it's
just
just
make
going to be
everyone really fucking
really
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable viewing experience.
Yeah.
It has Caleb Landry Jones in it, who
I
is
love him.
basically always makes you unsettled. No
I
matter
love him. Have you seen one of my favorites, which came out? I think it was my first Caleb movie, which was it had to do with an exorcism, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
God, it was good. Is it just The Last Exorcism? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I don't remember him
No?
in that, but there was the movie The Last Exorcism, but
I have my actors. No, it was The Last Exorcism,
there you go.
2010. His first scene in that, he
Right.
rocks up and he's a car is driving down the street. Anyway, at the end of it, he scared the absolute
Oh,
fucking
he's
shit out of
terrifying.
me.
He's absolutely
he really
terrifying.
is. I love him.
I'm a big fan of him. He's
Yeah.
he's carved a little niche for himself as the
As weirdo.
the real weirdo.
Yeah, who you don't really trust.
Yeah.
in the room,
and
yeah.
quietly turned up in like 3 Best Picture nominees last year.
He
Was
did,
it?
yeah,
Was
yeah,
it
that's
3?
true. 3 Billboards, Get Out, and what was the other one?
Maybe it was just the 2.
It was just the 2, but yeah, he's done everything.
Yeah.
He was in Social Network. He was in the Florida Project.
Oh, Florida Project, of
Yeah.
course. So and so with the other almost Best Picture nominee.
Exactly. He knows what he's doing. The other one is a random Michael Cera Tyson.
Oh, a bit of Michael Cera
Michael
action.
Cera
So this is a Sebastian Sylvia.
Sylvia, I would
Is that
say.
his name?
It's got a accent above the I, so I don't know how to say it.
And Michael Cera has a bit of a relationship with this director
Above the
because
A, sorry.
he's
Yeah.
been in a couple of his films. Films that I remember hearing about and not really wanting to run out and watch them very quickly.
I think he's done his day, to be honest, because everyone found out he couldn't act. He could do the one.
Michael Cera.
Yeah, he could do the one character, and he was good at it. And I love Scott Pilgrim. Don't get me wrong.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, I was like, well, that's a shame.
He's good in This Is the End, playing like a really
Playing
obnoxious version of himself. I think he's quite funny in that movie where he's just a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah, so interesting casting choice. I mean, obviously they have a relationship together, but he's playing a bit of a loutish kind of drunkard and maybe...
I'm really interested in this movie. It's the type of movie that I like. I like a movie that, because... very rarely do horror movies scare me. So now, as an adult, my horror is to feel really uncomfortable.
Sure,
and to have something a film to affect you. That's what you want. We go to films to affect us. Whether us to be at the end of Winter Soldier coming out going fucking yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
or something like Get Out where it just got you talking and things like that. Or something like Sleepless in Seattle where you at the end of it you're like. And that's fine too. But a reaction is what I want,
sure.
And this is going to, I feel, elicit a reaction.
An erection. Sound like you're about
a reaction.
Say.
A reaction.
Say, well, all right.
Hey, look, I'm up for an erection. If it gives me an erection, that's a good day for me.
Oh, God. Well, on that note, Nicholas, I think that's enough about that. I think we should move on to our feature presentation.
Fifth Element.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right.
The Fifth Element.
It is the Fifth Element. Nicholas, what year did you say? 1997?
97 times.
Yeah, wow. So we were like 15?
Yeah.
16?
Still, I was smack bang in the middle of working at the video store.
Yeah, right. I hadn't started by that point. No.
Yeah.
But Fifth Element quickly became a staple of rentals.
So good.
And I think it was it might be one of the first kind of I mean, I don't think I watched a lot of films from like. This is essentially a foreign film. Like,
it is,
aside from the actors.
Yeah. At JB, it was always a question: do we put it in the Luc Besson section or do we put it in A to Z?
The Luc Besson section at your JB Hi-Fi?
Dude, yeah, in the World Cinema section.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. His section in the World section.
Oh, fair enough.
Do we put it in foreign or do we put it, with every other Hollywood film that everyone knows because it stars Bruce Willis?
That's it. And it's funny that I think now, looking at it now,
You had a loop of songs.
I'm like, who goes into a video store and goes, "Oh yes, I'm looking for
Hey,
some
man.
Luc Besson."
I had a team. I had a mad team of stuff at my.
Hey, yeah,
GP.
it's good.
It was
It's dedication to it, man. I like it. I like it.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
It's funny, yeah, watching it now, how you can just see. I think when I was younger watching it, I just didn't care, and I was just kind of watching this big, colourful, outlandish kind of sci-fi action thing.
Yeah.
But I think from a technical point of view, it's really become quite obvious now just how non-Hollywood it is.
Yeah, that's true. He's doing his own thing.
Yeah, very much so. And it actually makes it really intriguing to watch. Like, you get kind of caught up in it a little bit, and you just think, oh man, that just would not happen if this was a Hollywood film. There are just some really nice ideas in it. There's some really great aesthetic choices. There's some, like, it feels like a French film.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched a lot of French cinema.
No, I haven't either. But this is the
It doesn't feel Hollywood.
It doesn't feel Hollywood at all. It has real kind of qualities that just would not exist in a normal Hollywood setting.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty great.
It's very.
And it ends up making me like it a little bit more. I think as well. Yeah.
Really?
This viewing might have been the most I've enjoyed it for a little while.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it this time through.
I didn't have that reaction.
You went a bit backwards.
I went a bit backwards. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
But I because I'm looking at it from a study point of view now, I was like, well, that was fun and that was fun. And one of the main things for me was just looking at, like, the art direction of this thing was off the scale. Like,
it's
really,
beautiful.
it's such a stunning movie to look at. And it's not just, like, normally art direction for me, not in, I'm not talking in all movies, in things like Mad Max, if you're going to take that one, or something of a Tim Burton-esque film or something like that, you know. Those are different. What I'm talking about of an art direction movie is it seems to be sugarcoating sometimes. It's just like, no, this is just pretty for pretty's sake. Whereas this kind of sets the world with its amazing detail. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's going into grave detail in this thing.
I was picking up on little parts of its world building that I'd never noticed before. That is just really, like, it just makes it so much more of a richer experience because.
And that's what I love about Fifth Element. Like, it may not be the storyline, it may not be the comedy thing, it may not be the action, or whatever. It's those moments that I love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's even, like, they don't always even draw attention to it. You know what I mean? Like, there's sometimes, like, what was I going to say? There's the, like, the moment with the chicken, right?
Yeah.
Where...
Oh, yeah. You don't even... It's not talked about.
It's not talked about,
she
but
chucks
it's just
two
a moment
pills
of
in a bowl and she has a
kind of
full chicken.
Yeah, it's like the bit in Back to the Future 2 where they have the mini pizzas that become large pizzas.
Yeah. Hydrate level 4, please. Ding. Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally good. Totally good. The same... on that same... I also have the note that the black stuff coming down from their face...
the oil is such a great choice.
I love that. It's not talked about, but you know what's happening. Like, if they're speaking to the darkness or whatever the evil is that's coming to Earth, you're like, what is going on? And it took me... I remember when it happens to Gary Oldman, you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's scary as hell, especially because how he's playing it. What I didn't realise, and it took me a while after watching it over and over, the guy who tries to kill it at the start,
he gets it as well.
And it's I didn't really notice that.
I think it's just such a nice choice because I think I think the villain in this movie is really quite interesting. Not Zorg so much.
No.
Is that his name? Zorg?
Yeah, Zorg's not a villain. Yeah.
But this
entity,
this dark entity, it's such a really interesting choice of a villain because we're so used to having something tangible as our villain, I think, and it's not really tangible. It's like it's a planet or something, but attacking it really makes it worse.
Weird, yeah.
It has no. You can't bargain with it or reason with it or anything like that.
It's just coming to kill you.
It's basically just it is like this kind of like manifestation of evil. And I love the whole thing about evil begets evil. It's kind of like, well, if it's only anything you do to it is only going to make it stronger because trying to destroy it is feeds on it. You know, it feeds on that.
Yeah.
And I think that having the idea that by interacting with it, it manifests a black goo
that comes out of you.
Well, but that's the great thing. You never see it come out of them. That's what I think is really clever too. It just starts happening. It just happens.
It's almost like your brain is bleeding, but it's not bleeding because it's oil or black stuff coming out of you.
I think it's such a great way to somehow physically represent
the power of it
and what your body does when you try to interact with it.
Yeah.
I thought it's just so good. And it's that kind of stuff that separates it, I think.
Yeah. This is what I love. These little moments is what I love about Fifth Element. On a whole, the comedy and this action has kind of worn off on me, but these little moments are what's sticking, and this is why I love Fifth Element.
Yeah.
From those things like I love his apartment, like the cigarette disposal thing. 4 more days to quit is my goal, and I'm like, that's gold.
And I love the cigarettes are like 5/8 filter.
So good. So things like that, and the mail shooting down, and the fact that he has to put his hands in the yellow circles.
In the yellow circles when you're being frisked. The system of like. The bedding system and the shower system, that your fridge and the shower are basically in the same thing. They just go in and out.
Getting takeaway from your window.
That's it. Someone will just drive up with it. It's like it's the next level of food truck. So someone just flies up to your window.
That is just an Uber. Uber comes to your window.
That's Uber Eats in the future.
Uber Eats in the future.
It's such a great vision of the future because I always thought that this was much further in the future than it actually is. It's only 300 years in the future. So from 1916 or 15, whenever the opening is, that makes it what, 2115? Or am I doing that maths wrong? No, 2215.
Did he say every 5,000 years? Is that what he says? Is it 5,000?
There's a little thing that says 300 years later.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it's not that far.
I mean, that's 200 years from now. I mean, it's impossible to think of what we could be doing in 200 years. But to me, I always thought this was like Star Trek levels in the future.
Oh, right.
But it's not.
But it's not, no.
And I think it's actually not a bad representation.
Yeah.
Like, there's still little things that they've taken. I think it's weird that Ruby Rod sings Lionel Richie.
I love that.
But it's a great moment.
I love that. As a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It is a great moment, but it's one of those things. It's like there's another movie where someone references. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto, and it's a movie set in the future, and it's like, fuck, so the Wizard of Oz is still in people's subconscious in like 500 years. Are you kidding me? It's one of those kind of things. If Lionel Richie's All Night Long is still being sung in 2215, that'll be a miracle.
No. Sorry, Lionel.
But you're right. They're not my favorite parts of this movie at all. But I think there's some of the stuff that makes it super duper strong.
So good.
So good. Because there's just so much. Yeah, there's so much quality in that design work. What about the costumes though?
Well, Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yeah. So, who did Dredd? Judge Dredd? Which big fashion guy did Judge Dredd? Was that Gaultier as well?
I don't know. Now I have to have a look.
Or was that
I didn't realize
Gucci?
It was.
I don't know enough of them.
You don't know enough?
No.
Well, I know that Jean-Paul Gaultier is an anti-Semite.
Oh.
He came out with anti-Semitic comments.
Oh.
Yeah, not the nicest man.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Dick move, Jean-Paul.
Yeah. Casting, costume. Oh, Versace.
Oh, Versace. Right. I knew it was another big
Wow,
big
I
designer.
didn't know that. Well, now I have to watch Judge Dredd again. To be honest, I've wanted to watch it since Dredd came out. And I want to go, remember that piece of shit?
It's always funny.
I am the law.
It's always funny when like an actual fashion designer
takes to a film.
Does the costume design on a film. I feel like it's always like they always have to kind of work really distinctively.
Yeah, they have to have their stamp on it, and you can tell with this movie, especially with even with Corbin and Lilu's outfits, like that yellow plastic thing that she's put on, that doesn't serve any purpose, but it looks badass.
Yeah, look, I think the costumes are pretty great.
Yeah,
I think they just suit the surroundings really well.
Yeah,
like they're futuristic enough without being completely ridiculous. Although I will say the police uniforms, I think,
I like them. No, I like them. The ones I don't like is Zorg's. I don't like Zorg's outfit.
Zorg's weird kind of rainbow holographic thing.
It looks stupid.
What's the plastic thing on his head for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It can't be a hat. It can't be a hat because it's weird.
Do you reckon has he had like burns? I can't. That's the vibe I get. It's like protective thing because he's got like third-degree burns over some of his head.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
because he's got no hair there. He's got a weird kind of like undercut thing going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say I do love his pet. I've always loved his pet.
Oh, the weird kind of mini elephant.
Mini elephant, yeah, with the little on the end of its
snout.
Trunk.
Weird little moments of like creature design. Like you've got the big monster
the guys
aliens
at the start.
Yeah.
They're kind of
like the guys at the start.
I love the guys at the start too, and I think that is shot so well. How it doesn't give them away. You kind of see them walking towards it in the mist and the smog and all that. You see the tops of them; they're all pointy and stuff, and then you see them, and they're basically giant ducks. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, such strange like. They're the heroes, essentially, of this story. And, I mean, obviously, spoiler alert for Fifth Element, they don't last long.
No.
But Lilu is created from one of those. And it's such a contrast to, you see them and you see these waddling metal things that are the protectors of the universe.
I don't know what they're protecting, though. They got fucking shredded.
Yeah, well, they apparently aren't very good at their job.
No, they had a plan. They put them in the blue girl. We'll get to that.
That's it. I was like, what? Oh, yes, of course.
They don't do a very good job. But they're really
they're great. I like the design a lot, I think there's something really interesting about the fact that, I mean, it wouldn't play because clearly, Mila Jovovich would have been. She's all over the front cover. She would have been in the trailers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there is something actually really clever about the fact that. They kind of bury the lead a little bit when they're recreating. They're like, we're creating this. We found some DNA of one of the. What are they called? Elementals?
Supreme Being?
No, she's the Supreme Being. What are the creatures called?
I don't know what they're called.
They had a funny name.
They had a name.
So then they're like, we can recreate one because there's enough DNA in the hand. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, it turns out to be this stunningly beautiful woman. And so I think that's kind of clever that they play it that way because it's if in a perfect world you could keep a secret in a film, that would have played really well.
Been really well. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. But unfortunately, because obviously, everyone knew she was in this movie and that she was the Fifth Element.
That's true. Does that CG stand up? The remaking of her?
It's not great, but it's not terrible though.
Yeah.
I was watching it thinking it was as good as average television now. And I'm like, and that's not bad.
I don't know. I was going to say Game of Thrones is not average television, isn't it?
But when you watch, like
The Flash.
Yeah, sure. Like a DC, one of the DCU television shows.
Sure.
I reckon it's probably on par with that. I think the spaceship stuff is really good. It's pretty strong.
The city stuff still holds up immensely. I think it's that stuff is, and that's always, whenever I see a city that jam packed and just fucked, I just want to live there. I look at it and go, I would love that. I would really love that.
It's an interesting.
And how the fog, so they're so high up that they're above the clouds. Basically,
it's like they kind of gave up and went, we've caused too much pollution.
We fucked that up. We'll just go up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that seems
to be honest, I'm sure Japan and China.
Well, this is kind of. It's actually kind of. It's a pretty clever way to think about it, because as population expands,
where are we going to go?
There is no out. Yeah, we're going to use all the landmass pretty soon. So the only thing we can do is build up.
I don't know. Central Australia's got some desert. You could go there.
True.
Like it does have Australia's pretty big.
It is pretty big.
Yeah. I went to Geelong the other day. That was fucking huge.
Geelong's like, it's its own little mini city. It's like, it's wonderful. There's plenty to do.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Fair deal. Where was I going with that? I was going to... No, I've got nothing.
You got nothing?
No.
I think...
Can we... What were you
going to say?
Let's talk characters.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is and I don't like that I say this, but then again, I haven't seen a lot of stuff with her in it. This is my only Mila Jovovich's movie that I like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think I said this last week in that I was a massive, Still am huge fan of the Resident Evil games, and she kind of fucked that movie for me. Like only because her husband was directing it, and she was dating. Was she dating Luc Besson at this point? Yeah. So I just find that rubs me a bit. If you're casting, oh no, I'm wrong. She's in Dazed and Confused. She's in it for 2 seconds, and I love her. I take it all back. No, I'm kidding. I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of her. She doesn't. I'm like, oh yeah, Mila Jovovich. That's fun. See ya.
I'm just
Except in this.
trying to get her.
Like even I watched 2010 Stone. Did you watch that? With Edward Norton.
Oh no,
and
I did not bother
Robert
with that.
De Niro.
No.
And she was actually not bad in that. That was kind of okay, but still, it wasn't. I just see her as Mila Jovovich is in this. That's nice. I'm not going to care.
I like her quite a lot. I am not a huge fan of the Resident Evil franchise.
No one should be. If you're a fan of that, thank you for subscribing to Nick Tyson Videotape. You can stop now.
No, I think there's some merit in them. Some of them aren't terrible.
What?
I can kind of just put them on and be like, yeah, they're on, whatever.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're better than the Underworld series.
Oh, I'd rather watch Kate Beckinsale, to be honest. Kate Beckinsale's at least badass.
Yeah, Miller's badass though. She kicks some real ass in those movies.
She kicks ass in this.
And she kicks a ton of ass in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I might have to agree with you though. I think this is my favourite.
Well, this is my only
of her films.
Yeah. She just and don't get me wrong, she does Lilu, like what she's doing, and Lilu's language is amazing. I still think that's spot on. Like it is a language. She does
she does
well.
exceptionally well.
She does so well in that.
I'm a bit of a fan of Luc Besson's Joan of Arc. I don't mind it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. But yeah, take it or leave it.
Well, I think she's excellent in this, though. Like, legitimately excellent.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's endearing. She is believably kick-ass.
Yeah.
She
does look like an alien.
Well, and she's just... she does have this kind of... Yeah, this ethereal quality to her.
Yeah.
I think her adapting to... Like, and slowly learning, I think she sells that really well.
Yeah, yeah.
I think... I actually do believe the kind of love story element in it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I actually buy it, and I think a lot of it comes from... I think this is just to kind of sidetrack a little. I think this is the kind of loose, carefree Bruce Willis...
Oh, really?
...that we hadn't seen for a little while, and it was nice to see again. It was a bit 80s Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Yeah, fair deal.
He had a bit of charm and swagger back.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to... and especially now, God, I've forgotten just... How nice.
What happened to Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Where did you
go,
buddy?
He can be so warm and so charming.
Yeah.
And
so caring as well.
It's gone now. And look, that's fine. He's making coin. He's just doing his thing. But I love the bit where the guy is like, take it. I don't need it.
Oh, God. And that is my dad and my wife's favourite bit of this movie, I feel. Sam lost it. I'm like, babe, how many times have you seen it? She's like, I love it. It's so funny. But I love
that the camera just sits on Bruce Willis and lets him have a giggle. And, it's perfect because you get to see this real kind of like...
And he just sits there with it. He's like, been waiting long?
Yeah.
And you're like, that's hilarious. He's not panicking. He's like, yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to sit down? Like... It's so funny. I do love him. I do love him in this.
And so I buy their chemistry because I think they feed off each other really well.
Yeah, that's true. And especially because you can see how much he's taken aback by her when he goes back home and he's like, oh, I forgot my cat's food because I was so blown away by this lady. Don't worry, I'll make up for it,
Yeah.
And then he just, he's very smitten.
He is.
And it's nice to see. It is. And when he's on the phone to his mum, you're like, you rarely get to see a Bruce Willis on the phone to his mum.
No.
And it's hilarious. And he does his thing. And it's good. Is it John McClane in space though?
I don't feel that.
You don't feel that?
I feel like I get pretty different vibes from it than a John McClane thing.
Deal.
I could see that.
Because John McClane is warm.
Yeah, I can see the similarities, but for some reason I didn't once think that when I was watching it.
Fair deal.
I think he does enough to distinguish Corbin. I like that. I like the two sides of Corbin. I like the that side, the kind of caring, quite charming, funny, happy to have a bit of a giggle kind of side. But I love like the capable Corbin, like the great moment where he's like, how many are there? And he's like, well, shall we count? And his eyeballs just go, and then he comes back and he's got the count, and then he goes, now there's this many left. Do you mind if I go? Do
you mind if I
try and negotiate? Like that stuff where you can see that he's like legitimately a badass.
That's so true.
So I think they juggle the two sides of that really well.
Fair deal.
I think it's probably one of my favorite Bruce Willis performances, I think. Like, I mean, aside from the obvious, I think this is one of those ones.
There.
Yeah, I think he does really nice work in this.
I need to watch Hudson Hawk again.
That's the thing. It's so nice to be reminded just how funny Bruce Willis can be as well.
Oh yeah,
he does you forget that he came from moonlighting and all that shit. Like,
and this is random, and I don't know why this comes up every time I think of Bruce Willis doing comedy. North. Do you remember North? And he was kind of like the guardian angel. Him in a bunny suit. Do you remember North?
I have never seen North. I know North by reputation only.
Oh, really?
Because it was the movie that inspired the name of Roger Ebert's book about reviews.
Oh, really?
Or it's a book which is a collection of all his most hated film reviews.
Oh, really? And he hated North.
He wrote his review for North was I hated this movie.
Wow.
And that's the cover. They named the book
North. That's hilarious. The only thing I remember from North is Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
and I remember him being quite funny in that. But he can do comedy.
Yeah,
he's good at it.
But just recently, especially like since, I mean, I can't think of it. Maybe the last 10 yards, I guess. Still, but maybe it was the last time we tried to do something any remotely funny.
Yeah,
I
love Bruce Willis's laugh as well. The kind of huffed out.
yeah. It's like it's infectious. It's really great.
Yeah.
So I think the two of them are really cast well and they perform really well.
Fair deal.
I think Lilu is captivating. Like there's something about her. Like she's just the bit where she says, it's okay. I'm Fifth Element. Me protect you. I remember it's just I just remember it's such a beautiful moment and it warms you instantly to her.
Yeah.
And when she's up in the air vents and she's been hurt and it's really
you care for her.
You really care. So
because she's crying out.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's going on. Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
I think they do really well with the two of them.
So Gary Oldman, where do you rate his performance?
I don't like the Gary Oldman performance a lot. I don't know what he's trying to do with what his accent is, and
it's weird.
I think he's far less threatening than perhaps he could have been, which is funny for Gary Oldman.
Would you rather him threatening?
I think maybe Zork should have been a little bit more threatening.
Yeah, I agree with that. What did I write down? I wrote down something.
Because he could still be like manic and have this kind of wildness to him and stuff, but
yeah, that's true.
He ends up being a bit of a butt of jokes.
Kind of hams it up a bit too much.
Maybe just a bit too much.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I didn't like about this movie. Do comedy, sure. The Chris Tucker thing. I think I'm the only person that maybe likes Ruby Rod.
I love Ruby Rod.
Oh,
I'm with you 100%.
Because I love Ruby Rod. I think he's
hilarious.
Fucking gold. Like that, those comedy bits I love. It's the things that they play a bit too much. They're hammed up. So it's in little instances where when the big dudes with the ears, big I forget what they're called.
No, you're right. Moglodonians or something.
When they get the ZF-1 guns and one of them fires off a net and it goes and someone's like that. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't make it funny like that because that's not funny.
Well, it depends what you want to do to you because they're meant to be a threat. Like they are meant to be an actual threat.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to diminish their threat?
Exactly, which I feel like you're doing.
Yeah, well, because really...
Do you want to diminish their threat, or do you just want to make them stormtroopers? These are stormtroopers.
Then again, also, not only that, you get the fight sequence with them and Lilu, which plays almost like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
It does.
So, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I don't want that. I don't want that.
Well,
I don't want that type of comedy. Do comedy. Don't get me wrong. There are funny parts.
Sure.
But yeah.
Look, it doesn't... I don't think it... I think maybe if we want something from this movie that this movie isn't interested in being. Do you know what I mean? I don't think this... I get what you're saying. And I agree to a certain extent, but I don't think the movie is concerned with that. I think the movie thinks it's lighter than what it ends up playing to us.
Yeah.
I think the intention was to make a far more light-hearted, fun movie.
Fair deal.
And an actual good action sci-fi movie kind of got caught up in the middle of it a little bit.
Yeah, fair deal.
And so we're on both sides of it. And while I would like, stuff like Zorg to be a more threatening villain, the Moglodonians to be more threatening.
Yep.
Maybe that's not the movie that they set out to make. Okay. Maybe they did set out to make a space Looney Tunes and with that's technically just a good love story.
Maybe it needs to be more funny. Is that what they tried to
so
put
maybe
into
it ends up falling in the middle.
Because imagine if you said that if Zorg was threatening and the Moglodonians or whatever they are were threatening, and it was only Ruby Rod that was funny, and maybe Lilu's reaction to things. Well, that's a boss movie right there.
Well, I don't know, but then maybe Ruby would be intolerable because you'd be like,
why is this comedian coming
in this actual like sci-fi adventure film?
Yeah, fair deal.
Maybe because it has been like stuff like the Parasites and stuff like that. Like if we didn't have them,
that's funny. That's weird funny.
It is weird funny, but if we didn't have them, maybe Ruby Rod would be just so obnoxiously terrible.
Yeah, fair deal.
It's interesting. Like I haven't really thought of it that way. It's just I'm just all playing around now.
The whole start sequence with the pyramid and the priest and the finding out all that's very serious. And I like the tone of where it was going. Like the first step out into this movie. Like
sure.
It was a nice no, we're doing it this way. And I was like, okay, cool. Luke Perry's in there. That's a bit weird, but
it is weird.
It works. It works. It worked.
Yeah, it does. It's still got that little sense of like you get the gag with all the different ways he's trying to drink the water, and it's like he's not quite drinking it. It's like, we'll toast. Oh yes. Oh no, you can't toast with water. All that kind of stuff.
True, yeah.
So I don't know. Like maybe it's just Maybe it is. I like the idea of it being. I had a point to say, and now I've lost it.
Oh, sorry.
And it was a good point.
Was it a good point?
I think so.
We'll talk about another character, and you think about your point.
Okay.
Ruby Rod.
Ruby Rod.
Coming live from 5. I love him. I love him. I love his posse. I love his outfits. I loved... this was my love of Chris Tucker. And then he was a 90s thing, wasn't he? Chris Tucker kind of hasn't come back from Rush Hour, has he?
He doesn't really do much anymore,
No.
Chris Tucker. He's a bit of a forgotten entity. I think we might have talked about this a little bit when we did Rush Hour back in the day.
Yeah,
See
that's
episode
true.
like 15 or something.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like 10.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Jesus. Real early days.
Yeah, Chris Tucker. And I love him in this. Like, I would have loved... When I watched this... For the first time, I was like, I would have loved to have played Ruby Rod.
Sure.
I really loved.
It's a performance that you can just...
And he's so
unfortunately,
fast.
Look, some people are going to hate it because in the middle of this,
they'll find
wild,
it just annoying.
crazy space opera, you get this jarring shift of tone.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it can be really frustrating, but to me, I think that's... And this goes to what we were just saying before about how... we're not quite sure of the tones. I think that's some of the stuff that comes through in it not feeling like a typical Hollywood film.
Oh, yeah.
Because we go into Hollywood movies with a certain amount of expectation that
true.
Foreign films don't have. So they can be more free-flowing with their tone and it not have an expectation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can chuck in a Ruby Rod in the middle of a space opera.
And it's fine.
An action space epic.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Whereas,
in a Hollywood movie,
Hollywood expectations...
we'd have to start off with him, or he had to be introduced a little earlier because you'd get the funny going
or
in
just
there.
the tone of what he brings, like this just manic energy, this kind of like, it suddenly turns into like you can hear like all the record scratches and stuff of the camera moves, like and like the music cues are ridiculous. Like it becomes like a 90s dance, like it's kind of stuff. It's just a completely 180 from what the rest of the movie is.
Yeah. In saying that, it goes well.
I like it. I like it a lot. I know a lot of people don't. I think it's a pretty killer performance.
How do people not like that performance?
Because it's pretty intense. Because this is what I'm saying. It's because it gets in the way of
they want to see
what they
more.
want.
Okay.
So some people go into Fifth Element, and like this means that it's not. I don't mean to say that their opinion is wrong. No. But they're going to the movie wanting something else.
Yeah, fair
I think once you accept the fact that the movie might not be exactly what you want it to be, I think might enjoy it more, maybe. Because I think what I got out of this last viewing is that I think I stopped trying to think about it as a badass sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
And started appreciating it more as a really kind of kooky, weird clash of tone.
Yeah.
And I dug it a lot more.
And that's the thing, like, at the end, when watching the end of this, especially, we'll talk about the ending in a minute, but it gets, there have been movies where the world is going to end or the bomb's going to go off or something, and I haven't felt the urgency. And every time I watch this, it's not, oh my God, are they going to make it? I know how it ends.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel that still. I'm like,
they do a good job.
They do a really good job of selling it off at the end.
Yeah.
And so at the end, and watching it as a whole, you get a bit of everything in this movie.
You do.
You get the comedy, you get the action, you get a bit of drama, and then you get, suspense and thriller in the end, and you get a whole bunch of things.
Do you know what it kind of feels like? And this might be a completely incorrect statement to some people. It kind of feels like a sci-fi space version of the Stephen Sommers The Mummy movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's got that similar vibe to it, where we're dealing with serious things and there are actual stakes involved, and it's all very, high intensity, but you're having a really good time while this is happening, and you're allowed to have fun.
Exactly.
Because I'm the same. I feel that urgency towards the end.
Yeah.
I think I wrote it down, and I could be convinced otherwise. I think the only thing that feels a little tacked on is the idea that she discovers war.
Yeah.
And so has this crisis of conscious what the fucking
consciousness
word? Conscience.
Conscience. Oh, right.
Fucking hell. Where
he got there.
Is civilization even worth saving? And he has to convince her, because otherwise, once you kill Zorg, you have no villain. So the ticking clock aspect is only the thing coming towards you.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to overcome once they get to the temple.
Yeah.
If she's like, yep, let's do it. Let's get it done. Come on, I'm here to save the day.
Yeah, and I like that she, from one thing that I noticed this time, it's not as if she can flick a switch and it just happens.
No.
She has to want to.
Yes.
There
has to be, an underlying drive. I think it's nice. I think that, maybe it's a bit trashy. Not trashy. Maybe it's a bit tacky that it is just love that saves the day in the end. But I don't know. I feel like the movie set itself up for that. It's kind of allowed it to be a movie where it can warm your heart at the same time as being kind of crazy wild and
you've got everything
action.
else. You might as well chuck that in as well.
Yeah, I like how they've got I like the little moment with the match.
Yeah, perfect.
It's so great because you get to have this moment of actual tension.
Yeah.
Because I swear to God, like, I watch that every time and just go, I could never do that. Like,
you fucking up.
I love it how it's like, don't breathe, and there's that little moment where someone just goes, and it just kind of blows a little bit, and he's like, it's so great. And I like it's really good. Yeah. I like how they find ways to continue that, the sense of threat, even though I don't love what is war?
I don't like that either. The other bit that it kind of rubs me a bit weird is the last. So after that section, we're having a scratch. After that section, like, we save the day, yay. We've got a little.
We have a little visitor at the moment.
A little visitor at the moment.
Hey, Penny.
She's having a scratch on the floor.
She is having a scratch on the floor. She's a good girl.
The president.
The
president's section of this movie, sometimes it just doesn't fucking work. And that last section with the president, I could do without it. For me, the movie ends when she screams and the thing ends.
Sure.
Cut to credits, I'm golden.
Yeah.
That last section, especially with the... I hate that song. I have to write down... There are a number of movies where the song plays and I have to stop it, otherwise it will ruin the movie for me. And this is one of them.
I don't like that song.
I
100%
hate
right.
that song.
That song is so 1997 though.
It is, isn't it? It reminds me of Hackers, that song. Like, 100%. I love the Hackers soundtrack, but for some reason I watched Hackers alongside Fifth Element quite a bit.
Sure.
So it has that
Hackers.
Hack the planet.
Yeah, do you know what's funny though? It's like, and we, it probably doesn't matter as much in our current society because we've experienced 8 years of it, but it's always interesting when it's not mentioned, but there's a black president, And it's not mentioned anyway. It's not referenced anyway. It just so happens it's the future. People have gotten over their shit, and so we can have a black president, and it's fine. And I love that it's Tiny Lister as well, like who is renowned for playing like real tough heavies. Like he's massive. He's massive. Thus the irony of his name.
Yeah.
And he pops up in a lot of kind of urban gangster flicks as being like a hard ass.
Yeah.
So to see him as like this kind of fun-loving, weirdly kind of casually spoken president.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have a lot of authority in the way he speaks. He's just kind of like he's just getting shit done.
Yeah, that's so true.
I like it. I don't hate their stuff, but I can see where you're going from.
Yeah.
I think it's. I don't mind the interactions with him and he's like the generals
his crew
and stuff
like that.
Yeah, there's moments of nice stuff there.
Yeah.
I will say though that this kind of ties into the next thing I wanted to talk about is that I think the scene transitions and the editing in this film is incredibly clever.
Yes.
And I think that's, I think part of it is having another location. Every single scene transition is deliberate. It's paced perfectly. It's usually got a reference in the dialogue from the line before, or it's got a visual reference from that we subconsciously are requiring at that point.
Yep.
It's so well done. Like, even when you just look at the takeoff sequence of the plane, the way it cuts from the plane itself to Ruby Rhod having sex with that chick to...
that whole section,
the guys on the ground.
Beautifully.
It's really, really good. And
especially going back, so that section and then the opera, which we haven't spoken about yet, and the fight sequence. Those are married really well together as well.
But it's funny because, they're the two standouts. It happens the whole movie, and I really noticed it this time as well because I started catching on just how often the scene transitions were super deliberate. Like, a scene does not just end and then go to the next scene. Not once in this movie.
Bleeds into the next.
They bridge it so well, and it's so clever.
Yeah.
And I think that's, just going with the president stuff, I think by having that another location, it helps them with that because it gave them extra options. You know what I mean? So they could. They didn't have to just cut simply to the next scene with the same characters they had.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, should we talk about the diva?
Sure. I love that song. I've always loved that song. I will always love that song.
It gets a bit wild when it gets into the full dance version of it. I'm less interested in that part. I actually think the actual aria itself, the classical aria, is stunning. It's beautiful, and it's so beautifully sung. And when it gets into that, when it gets into this weird 1997 techno thing, it's like delirium.
I don't mind it. I love it. And the ending, bam, bam, bam,
Sure. Look, it's great. It works in the effect.
It works well. I would rather see it without the action sequences spliced into it. It goes well. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have it any other way. But I would like to see the actual thing just on its own by itself.
Sure.
I think it'd be totally different to watch.
There are videos of people on YouTube actually doing it.
Doing the whole thing?
Yeah,
really?
Which is pretty wild.
That's intense. If you've got those vocal ranges, Jesus.
Oh my God. It's out of control. But even then, I like that, there's a bit where she's singing and she's kind of foreshadowing being shot. She's doing the thing with her stomach, and someone else in another scene has gotten shot, and it's like she's feeling it. It's her friend. It's her bodyguard gets shot, and she feels she feels the pain. But then
what's happening?
It's really stunning. It's a great sequence, and this is another reason why this is just not a Hollywood movie in any way, shape, or form. But when would a movie like this just stop dead in its tracks? To listen to an aria, because the first half of it, or the first minute or so, nothing else really happens.
No.
We're just there watching, and I feel like it's really funny how at the end of it, Bruce Willis just gets up and applauds, because I feel like I'm doing the same thing. I get so mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
It is.
And her design is beautiful. It's fucking cool.
The set where she is, the fact that she has it's a ocean planet in the background. That she has that onto her background, which she is blue, so it's amazing in that element as well. I was going to say something, now it's gone. Damn it! No, it's gone.
It's gone. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like everything on...
That's what I was going to say. In only a foreign film would you get away with the fact that the stones are inside her. And question, how the fuck did the stones get inside her, Tyson?
She's an alien. She might not have organs, for all we know.
You're telling me okay.
That's good point. I kind of just think, well, how can we ever understand the physiology of an alien being? Because it's a fictional creature.
Fictional piece of writing.
Her heart could be in her knee.
She literally...
for all we know.
The big thing on the top of her head, that's actually her head, and it actually ate the stones.
Exactly.
Okay, fair deal.
She might be able to like dislocate her jaw and just like slide them down like a duck would eat them.
Okay, or maybe she touches them and they go inside her just like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
I tell you what, one thing that does annoy me about this movie is that Gary Oldman doesn't know how to check for merchandise twice. In this fucking movie.
Twice.
He gets done
so true.
by someone not just looking at the case that they are stealing.
That's so true. And my other favourite thing is the continuity on Bruce Willis's shirt. Oh my God. So it goes,
I didn't pay any attention actually to that.
Fucking hell. It's the one thing that
does he get that sleeve back at one point, does he? No? Once the sleeve's gone, they left it off?
It's so funny. So when he sees the opera, he collapses. Bit of action, he's fine. He's got a bit of blue on him, that's fine. But when he busts, he's got the stones and he has to go.
Oh, yeah.
He busts open the door and the sleeves are gone.
Sleeves gone.
There's blood on everywhere. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, clearly we've missed a scene. Either that or whoever's on continuity, dude, you're fired.
But that we wouldn't have gotten that excellent transition where it's he's the best man for it. I'm sure he's going to calmly and safely secure
Don't worry, sir. I know my man. He'll calm things down.
That's it. He'll calm things down. Crash. Which is fantastic.
So I was reading, which I'm sure you would have read as well.
Oh, I didn't get to check out the trivia on this,
really?
actually. No.
There was so much going on in this trivia.
Yeah, right.
So there was a lot of... There were scenes that were shot that weren't even... The garbage... Sorry about the garbage. There was a whole sideline storyline to do with the garbage that they shot and didn't got cut. What was the other one that I was going to say? No, it's gone. Oh, the explosion. So when... Count to 10 and he chucks the bomb on the roof and they run and Ruby Rod does one of the best screams in
100%. It's so great.
I love it. But yeah, that explosion, they did it for real and it just got way out of hand and lit half of the set on fire.
No shit.
Yeah, they got in a lot of trouble.
Great.
They blew,
I love it.
Luc Besson blew way over budget for this thing.
Sure.
Yeah, and got in a bit of strife for it, but he had a solid contract to the point where he didn't have to show the producers any dailies, Tice. So he got to do whatever the fuck he wanted to.
You know what? It feels like a movie. It feels like a movie from somebody that had nobody watching him.
No one's watching him. He's like, no, let's do it.
And it's so much better for it because there is no way if he had studio executives watching these, there's no way we would have this movie the way it is.
No, that's
because they would be like,
what are you doing?
They would make him change everything. Oh, no, that's too funny. What are you trying to do here? What are those things?
You can't have the stewardess dressed like that. Why is the McDonald's lady showing boobs like that?
Yeah, exactly.
No, you wouldn't get that.
Yeah, McDonald's is a sponsor on this film. You won't be able to get away with that.
Yeah.
But just the ludicrousness of it all. Because it is pretty bonkers, this movie.
Insane.
Like, it really is.
Yeah.
It would never have flown. This is a Bruce Willis movie, for crying out loud. It's a Bruce Willis action movie.
What are you talking about?
Wait,
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Do you like Luc Besson?
I have only seen this and Leon.
Leon's great.
Yeah, and I love Leon. I need to see more, and it's always been on the list, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It's just one of those things. Did you know Chris Tucker was in Silver Linings Playbook? Do you remember that? I forgot that.
No, I couldn't tell you what he did either.
Have you seen Silver Linings?
Yeah. I don't remember him in that at all.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. Now,
did you see Lucy?
I didn't know, and I
Lucy
heard it
was
really
garbage.
Oh.
I mean, look, some people like it, I'm sure.
I love a quick reaction like that. Did you see Lucy? No, I didn't. It was fucking shit. Don't watch it. The Family? I didn't watch that either. And
I've got no interest in that.
Why not? Come on.
I've seen
Robert
some
De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer as a mob family?
I know, but I heard it was awful, so I didn't bother going anywhere near it.
Fair deal.
I've seen some of Arthur and the Invisibles.
Oh, why are you watching that shit?
Because it's just randomly on television once.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so...
Everyone should watch Leon. Leon the Professional.
I'm sad I didn't see Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. I heard it was not a fantastic film.
Okay.
But for me, it's the kind of thing that I feel like I would watch and respect the ambition of it.
Yeah, fair deal.
Because it did look like it was a very ambitious project, and I'm always up for that. I'm interested in ambition in films, and
I'll give it a shot.
he is nothing if not ambitious, Luc Besson.
That's true.
He does try to push some boundaries, especially in some of his earlier films. I'm really interested in watching Subway. I really want to see Subway.
Subway?
The story of the sandwiches. No, Christopher Lambert.
I want to watch Nikita. La Femme Nikita. Well, I've wanted to see that for ages, and I've never gotten around to
I have
it.
this weird feeling that I've seen it, but maybe I'm just talking about the one with Bridget.
Oh, Bridget.
Fonda.
Shit. No.
Bridget Fonda?
No. I know the one you're talking. Isn't that Assassin? Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Jesus. The Assassin. Bridget Fonda, yeah.
Bridget Fonda, the Assassin?
Yeah, maybe I'm just thinking of that.
Okay. I've seen that. That's actually quite good. No, I take that back. I've seen it. I don't remember it.
I used to watch religiously the Nikita television series.
Oh, yeah.
Not the recent one.
Are you talking about the one
from the 90s with
God.
Peter Wilson?
And
the Australian actress in it?
Peter Wilson.
Which was, that was actually called La Femme Nikita.
La Femme Nikita.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Don't you remember Peter Wilson? She's in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. She's Nina the vampire.
No.
So this TV series, 97 to 2001. So it was pretty... Man, they got a good 4 seasons out of this thing.
Jesus.
5 seasons. Watch out. I watched the hell out of that. It was always like one of those ones that it would be on 11 p.m. on Channel 9 on like a Wednesday.
I love that you remember that. That's so good.
And so I used to record them on VHS.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh. Was it The Professional? Is it The Professional with... I don't remember. Bridget Fonda. I'm still looking at Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, no, you're talking about The Assassin.
Is it The Assassin?
Yeah, but it's also called Point of No Return in the US.
She had that rad gun on the cover, man. It just looked boss.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, do you know what? I saw that and said, that gun looks awesome.
It might have actually had a different name in Australia, actually.
No, it was the...
I'm going to look up alternate.
The Assassin. Oh, no, Point of No Return. You're right, 1993. She got trained by Gabrielle Byrne.
See, even Luc Besson,
badass.
yeah. So they've even had to credit Luc Besson on that as
oh, really?
because it's obviously based so heavily on La Femme Nikita.
Yeah, well, that's why I want to watch it. Go to the source, people. Always go to the source.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
No, I don't have anything else.
At the end of it, I said you could watch this movie on mute and it'd still be badass to watch.
It's super
visually
fucking
amazing.
I feel like it ends up working really well as a whole. Maybe I'm just a bit on a high from having a good viewing experience of it.
Yeah.
But I think visually, obviously, it works really well. I don't think that was ever questioned.
No.
I was surprised this time how much I enjoyed the other elements to it.
Okay.
Character stuff, the cleverness of the script, of the editing.
Yeah.
I really liked the score this time, except for the
end fucking song.
Well, that's not the score's fault. Just it's
I love that Lilu has her own theme song.
Yes,
that's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
I've noticed that before, but yeah, you see it when it's a lovely, almost like a hymn type.
Sure.
Notes, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to like in this movie. I think it's going to stick around for a while.
Oh yeah, there is, and a lot of people like it. But yeah, as I won't ever watch it again. Like I think I'm done
it.
I'm done. I've watched it because I've watched it that many times. That's not to say that I won't. If my son says, "What's the Fifth Element?" I'll go, "Yeah, we're watching Fifth Element tonight. Let's do it."
Sure.
Things like that. But it's the little things that still make it for me. It's the little nuances that make the world and all of that stuff that I can still find.
Well, I'm pretty sure
that's
it, and I'm pretty sure if you did go back to watch it again, you'd discover different things every time. Because I'm 100% certain that I have not seen every little detail that's in it, and it would be really fun just to pay no attention to the story whatsoever and just examine the frame of every shot and find all the little details because there's some really wonderful stuff in there. I think, and it's obviously. we haven't even scratched the surface of what they did. I like movies that really go to that much trouble and really, really fill the world. Like, put as much detail in as they can.
Exactly.
All right, well, that might wrap us on Fifth Element. This got a fair bit of traction on Faces when we announced that we were doing this one.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a bit of a crowd favourite.
Crowd fave.
So we'd love to hear from the people.
What did you think?
What
did we miss out?
Yeah,
What's the bit
what didn't we talk about? What's your favourite bit? What's your favourite quote? We did get a few quotes.
Oh, we did get a few quotes.
Which this is
everyone loves Multipass.
Multipass. It's a very quotable movie.
It's very quotable. Yeah, that's very.
There's true. There's a lot that you can just kind of, and everyone knows a Fifth Element quote when you say one.
Yeah. What is your favourite? What comes to mind for you? Do you have any one that you love?
What's my favourite?
I think mine is "Give Me the Cash."
Oh.
Give me the cash. Give me the cash. Give me the cash. Give me the cash.
What was the guy like? I just to be in that conversation between Luc Besson and that actor, and say what has he told him to do to get that performance out of him?
I have no idea.
Or on the flip side, what is that actor thinking if he walks in and they go, "Yo, are you ready to take? Let's give this a go. Let's see what you got."
I know from a friend of mine who is a Frenchman that guy is actually a director himself.
Sure.
And I believe he just wanted to be on a Luc Besson film.
It's okay. Take it.
It's okay. I don't need it. And his little dance that he does. Fucking hell.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's good.
Look, I think he's hard to go past.
That's so good.
It's definitely hard to go past that guy. Big Bada Boom. That's also my favourite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Help.
Please.
Yeah, I like that bit.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. Hey, Nick. Should we move on to our next segment?
Yeah.
Which is, what did you watch this week? Dun, dun.
You go first.
All right, I'll go first. I'm just going to do one, actually. I had a couple.
Yeah, you got a thing?
Yeah, I watched, I rewatched, because it was just on 7 Flicks the other night, the free-to-air movie channel that Channel 7 runs.
Yeah.
So I did happen to watch it with commercials, and I tell you what, that is a fucking...
That is a slog.
Oh, man, that is an experience these days. I am so accustomed. When the commercials came on, I was so just jarred by that. I was
really?
like, what the fuck is this shit?
What is this?
So, yeah, commercials in movies just should never happen. But they were playing Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Oh.
I could not turn it off. So
I've been told it's worth a watch.
It's wonderful. I think I might have recommended it at some point on the show.
Yeah.
Because but it's no longer available free streaming, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, it is as good as I remembered, if not better.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's growing in its popularity slowly. I think it's going to be a bit of a sleeper hit that people kind of catch up to. It's been 10 years now.
Oh, yeah.
So I think people are going to start really coming around on it and say, hey, we all kind of slept on this one. It's fucking great. And especially as now that we have, I think we've have we gone past the music biopic as being like an immediately, remember if there was a little while there, you could do a music biopic and everybody would pay attention because it was like, oh, no,
you love it.
You know, it's going to be huge. It's going to be the best thing in the world.
It's going to be massive.
But now there's been so many, I think we've no one gives a fuck anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think now you can go back and reflect on Walk Hard and see how cleverly it was parodying that genre.
Everyone's like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can really kind of reflect on that whole era of it was like mid 2000s or early 2000s to like 2010.
Yeah.
It was like every time there was going to be a music biopic, it was like someone's going to get a Best Actor or Best Actress nomination. Is it up for Best Picture? Is it going to be, and they were box office killers.
That's true.
But unfortunately for every, Ray, there was a I'm trying to think of a really terrible one.
What was the Hendrix one where
Jimmy All Is By My Side?
They didn't have any rights to the music. So what the fuck were you doing?
No one gives a rat's.
Because the Hendrix family said, it's going to be a pass from us, but you can still make it.
Still, that's it. Go ahead.
You can give it a shot
go ahead
without
and see
the music.
what happens.
But yeah, we're not going to back you, but have a good one. Yeah, that's very interesting. It's very interesting.
But yeah, I'd recommend absolutely getting on board.
Yeah, I've always wanted to watch Dewey Cox.
Yeah, it's very funny. The songs are really great too.
Oh, really?
It does not get enough credit for the cleverness in the music, in the actual songwriting itself.
Yeah.
what about Beyond the Sea, the Bobby Darin story with fucking Kevin Spacey? That's a bad one.
Did he direct that?
I think he did direct that.
That's interesting as well.
Yeah, so, and it's like, in this, you know, it's, if you like Step Brothers, if you like Anchorman, if you like that Will Ferrell brand of comedy, if you like this SNL kind of crew, you're going to love this because it's just all those guys. It's all the people that you love seeing pop up in films, that everybody shows up for a scene here and there. Kristen Wiig is in it and she's fucking hilarious. You get Paul Rudd, you get Jack Black. You get Tim Meadows in a supporting role, the ladies' man himself. And, like, so it's just full of people that you love seeing.
Yeah. And that's good.
Yeah, and it's absolute, like, it is ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. It's very much parody humor.
Okay,
but I think it does it really, really well. Okay. And then we get some really nice songs, and it ends up having kind of like a poignancy to it as well that I think maybe isn't even in some of the bad music biopics. They try to do that and they can't get there, where this movie almost kind of accidentally does it. It's
really?
that effective. Yeah. So,
would you rate Dewey Cox better than what is the Lonely Planet one about Justin Bieber?
Lonely Island. Pop star, never stopping.
Yeah. Are they? Would it be a good double team if I watch both of those together?
Actually, that's not a bad double feature, to be honest.
Double team. Jesus Christ,
it's not quite. Yeah.
Get your fucking shit together, man. God damn, you old bastard.
A double feature with Double Team and Simon Says, a Dennis Rodman double feature.
Fuck, that's a good one.
God, remember when Dennis Rodman was trying to be an action star?
God damn it. No, I do not.
No, because no one
should.
That movie's wild, Double Team.
I want to watch that again. I have watched, out of all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies I've seen, it's Time Cop is the top, and then it goes Bloodsport. Hang on, wait, I'm missing one.
Kickboxer.
No.
Really?
No, I always went Bloodsport rather than Kickboxer.
Yeah,
I'd rather Bloodsport.
I rate Bloodsport over Kickboxer, but only just.
No, I think it was Universal Soldier.
Universal
maybe?
Soldier's a good movie.
Or no, but it was always there. And where was I going with that?
We're talking about Double Team.
Thank you. I've watched Double Team that many times for some reason because it was the thing to do.
It's like a legit. He fights a lion at the end of that thing, or a tiger or something.
It's between him and Mickey Rourke, and it's before Mickey Rourke had his accident, so he still looks kind of okay.
Oh, that's right. Mickey Rourke is he's ripped in it too. Like
because he went off to do boxing. He said, "I've given up on acting, and I want to be a boxer." And he went in, and they beat the shit out of him.
That's interesting. I thought that was right in the heat of his boxing phase, but
no, it was he went off after Double Team, I believe, to do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I kept knocking my thing there. I didn't actually watch anything this week, Tice.
Didn't you?
Yeah, no.
Well, I was saying we've got a lot of preparation to do. So
we do. But I'm gonna try and punch out.
Because we've got a very big October happening.
We do have a big October. But yeah,
we're gonna have a lot to do. Well, shall we move on to crossing the streams then?
Let's crossing the streams. Yeah, I like that.
There you go. I felt more comfortable letting it loose here though, because
really?
it's not my house, so I don't care.
Fair deal. And there's no
sleeping baby.
Sleeping baby. Yeah, fair deal. That was a good one.
Hey Nick.
Yeah, Tice.
Should I go?
Yeah, you should go.
So I'm just gonna put it out there.
Oh,
Netflix. On Netflix.
Get your
at the moment.
Together. Yep.
You can watch. I'm just going to check exactly how many you can watch.
I'm going to do a sci-fi one because this is sci-fi.
For some unbelievable reason that I can only say is a wonderful thing, and I'm so glad they've done it.
Yeah.
Netflix are allowing you to watch at least the first 4.
Ooh.
I'm going to find out just how many. No, just the first 4 at this stage.
Police Academy?
Police Academy.
Oh, really?
You're 100% correct.
The
first 4.
That's awesome.
Now, funnily enough, I'm going to specify...
Oh.
No, well, it's a blanket recommendation because Police Academy was my flying high, I think, as a kid. I watched the Police Academy movies so much as a kid.
I've seen 1 and 4, and that is it.
Oh, I've seen them all.
Which one was the Moscow?
Mission to Moscow is 6,
okay, I've seen some of that one.
But I watched especially... Number 4, Citizens on Patrol. Oh my God, did I watch that movie?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now, yeah, so I've seen them all.
Yeah.
And I like them all to certain levels. I think the first one is actually, it's fine. It's funny. It's got some good stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it's really, for some reason, 2, 3, and 4 are the ones that really stick out to me as being the Police Academy crew.
Okay.
Like, and the other ones that I enjoy the most. 4, I don't know why, but 4 especially, Citizens on Patrol.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the introduction of the idea of the other people, because I think this might be the first one that had. No, was he in the third one? This is where it gets hairy. Which was the first one with Bobcat Goldthwait in it? Was he in 3? So he's in 3. So
Bobcat Goldthwait. God damn, man.
There's just something about number 4, the whole mentality of it being like, we're going to train up these regular people.
We're going to give it a shot.
There's like a weird kind of like competition element to it, I think, if I remember correctly. I remember distinctly these red tracksuits that they wear in this film.
I'm going to watch them again. I can't wait to watch the Police Academies over again because I remember one is everyone's seen one. There's no way that you haven't seen Police
I've seen
Academy
one probably the least.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, except for like the last 2, like Mission to Moscow and Operation Miami Beach. I want to say, is that what it is?
Bring it on.
Oh, hang on. Jesus, I think I'm missing one. I think I've totally skipped over one. Hang on, we've got to fix this. 6 is City Under Siege.
This is the longest.
Oh my God.
Everyone has tuned out.
I know,
They're not gonna...
it's like, can we stop talking about the random Police Academy sequels that no one's ever going to watch?
Well, I am.
Well, but this is the thing. It's 1 to 4. These are they're the good ones.
They're the best ones.
From 5, the quality
does,
really
yeah.
dips. Some would argue that the quality dips pretty substantially after the first one. But I say that.
But I say nay.
I say nay to those people. There's 4 good movies in there. And
they're all on Netflix?
They are all on Netflix. And you can smash out a 4-film Police Academy marathon in probably in 5 hours. Because these are a tight 1 hour, 20 minute, these movies.
Are they?
They don't fuck around.
Yeah,
They are in and out. They had no interest in telling a long story. They were all about getting in and out, putting bums in the seat.
Quick, a couple of dick jokes, a couple of wet t-shirt jokes, and it's.
And you know what? In the 80s, that's all you needed.
That's
you had
so
Michael
true.
Winslow all over the place.
Yep, that's true. He was in Spaceballs for a split second.
Right, he's great in
he was my
Spaceballs.
fave. That's hilarious. I'm gonna watch them again. I really am. Is it? Steve Guttenberg.
Steve Guttenberg, the Goots.
The Gutenberg.
I love
Everyone
the Goots.
loves him.
Yeah, he's great.
All right. Well,
3 Men and a Baby. Jesus.
We should do that again.
I fucking love 3 Men and a
3
Baby.
Men and a Baby. Well, in the sci-fi element, I'm going to it's not request a stream. It's what is the word I'm looking for?
Recommend?
Thank you. That's the word. 2013's Snowpiercer. Have you seen this movie?
Oh,
Tyson? Yeah. I enjoyed this.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's a really good movie.
Killer.
Director is Jun Hong Bong. He did The Host.
Yeah,
that's what he's known for. And also last year's Okja, which everyone said, don't watch it, you will bawl your fucking eyes out. And I kind of listened to them, which I don't normally do. It was I believe it was a Netflix
I've heard that's
original.
really great.
Yeah, I've heard it's really, really good. So yeah, Snowpiercer, for those who don't know, it's set in a future where a failed climate change experiment kills most of the planet, and lucky people who are to board a train which literally just circles the Earth, which is called the Snowpiercer. Travels around the world, and it's very much about a class system emerges. If you're at the front of the train, you get looked after. If you're at the back of the train, you are served shit. And led by everyone's favourite captain, Chris Evans, an adventure ensues.
It does ensue. And it's pretty fucking. It's brutal too.
Yeah.
It's real brutal.
It's really full on. Tilda Swinton's in there. You've got you got a stellar cast as well. It's really awesome.
It's a really wild movie.
It is, and the ending is
a lot.
not what you expect.
No, it's not
at all.
Yeah, it's a very kind of, I don't want to say downbeat ending, but
no, I loved it.
It makes you earn the 2 hours you spent with it. Like
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
kind of there's a potential for you to walk away at the end of that and have a little hissy fit, I think,
Yeah.
if you've really invested in what's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's great. I like a movie that has the ability to kind of challenge the last couple of hours you've spent with
Exactly.
it. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. The action sequences in that are super. That
Boss.
random machete fight that comes out of nowhere. I love that. Like
It almost plays like the Raid, like it's levels.
yeah,
it's
for
either
sure.
like that or the Raid split with the Cube. Do you remember Cube? That movie?
fucking yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like that. So you've got levels of this movie that you just are waiting for what the fuck the next carriage is
Yeah.
and what the next carriage is going to bring up, because the train, my favorite bit, is super fucking long. Like this train is massive.
Well, it has the remaining population on
Yeah,
it. So,
So you've got to think of water irrigation. You've got to think of all of these things, education, and
there's a fantastic sequence, and this isn't really giving anything away, where it's considering the length of the train.
Yeah.
That there is they can time a bullet
Yeah.
shot from one end of the train to the other if
good
they
is
do
that?
it at the right time,
right time.
on an angle of a turn, stuff like that, where it's just like, yeah, this is fucking great.
It is, and it's such a good sci-fi flick, and it's not of. It's a person. I like this because who wrote this movie? Whoever wrote it.
It's based on a comic.
Is it?
I believe, yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. Based on a graphic novel.
Oh yeah, based on a graphic novel. Yeah, by three gentlemen.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's people thinking outside the box on this thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's that's why I love it, because it's very much like Fifth Element. You don't know what you got. You don't know
it's
what you're in for.
Incredibly original piece.
Yeah.
I was just doing a little bit of a check-in on
the Snowpiercer. Yeah, your what? Police Academy?
Yes, Snowpiercer is what on what? How do you watch that?
It is on Stanley.
Yeah, Stan. Big old Stan.
Stan.
I was just checking in on Steve Gutenberg to see how he's going.
Oh, yeah. Where is he going?
Oh, look, he's doing great. He was in a movie called Lavalantula in 2015.
Hey, I actually want to see that one. I bet you.
Volcanic eruptions in Los Angeles unleash a swarm of gigantic lava-breathing tarantulas. Lavalantula, starring Steve Gutenberg. So he's doing great. That's a Mike Mendez film.
Look, he's paying the. Who's Mike Mendez?
Mike Mendez is
an idiot.
No, he's a kind of. He's got a bit of a reputation in kind of indie horror for doing some interesting things. One of which was the movie Don't Kill It, which I think I might have talked about on the show. Dolph Lundgren is like a bounty hunter, and there's a demon that if you kill the person that the demon's in, it just jumps to the next person. Like,
really?
Kind of like Fallen.
Kind of like Fallen.
And so it ends up being don't kill the demon person, because you got to try and, because otherwise you'll become the demon.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, well, that about wraps us up then, Nicholas,
Fair
I think.
deal. That was good.
That's been fun.
Fifth Element.
Now, why don't we give people...
Oh, you've stayed tuned.
That's it. They've stayed with us that whole time.
They've listened to your Police Academy, which one is good rant, which was fucking hysterical. If you've stayed with us that long, we're going to give you a nice little treat.
You deserve to be rewarded for tolerating that nonsense.
Exactly. Well, next week, Tyson starts off October.
It does. It's our first spookisode for 2018.
Which will be dropping... we'll be dropping the first week of October. And to start off our horror movie watching... We're going to start off with a movie that sits in my top 5 movies of all time. And I stand by that 100%. We are talking Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street.
We are.
Fuck me.
Holy shit,
I can't wait.
I am nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I might need you in this to bring me back down to reality, because when I love a movie this much... You're not going to tell me that there's something wrong with it, because
I am stressed because I have not watched this since I was a kid, and even when I was a kid, I don't think I watched the whole thing.
Fair deal.
I was much more comfortable as a child with Wisecracking Freddy.
Yeah,
this is the real deal Freddy.
Yeah,
so I am a little bit terrified.
Yeah, fair deal.
This.
Look, to give you a heads up, he is only on screen for about 10 minutes. He's not there that much. You only get glimpses of him. But he is. That's very true. Freddy down the line got very comedic, and I fucking hated it.
He was, selling fucking Pepsi, Crystal Pepsi and
exactly.
shit. So
yeah.
How threatening can you be?
Yeah, and he it turned. You can see along the line. Like I remember at the video store, there was a segment where it's Nightmare on Elm Street 4, where it turned from an hard R to an M15.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, it was creeping through in Dream Warriors.
It was.
And then
that's
Dream
very
Master
true. But there was
very much,
still in Dream Warriors, there was a horror. Like it was full on.
Yeah, well, Dream Warriors I have legitimately seen since I had clear memory of it.
Fan favorite.
And I did really enjoy that. So I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. I'm nervous, but I'm pumped.
That's all right. Are you going to watch it in the daylight?
No, fuck yeah. No, 100% daylight. I thought you would say in the dark, and I was like, no.
Tyson, watch it in the dark, please.
No,
please.
No.
What if I give you my trick or treat bag? What if I give you my lollies that I get when I go trick or treating?
That's not bargaining.
Okay, fine. Okay.
That doesn't bargain with me at all.
What if I buy you a new iPhone?
Oh, all right. Now we're talking. Now we're in business.
Fair deal. All right, Nick, ladies and gentlemen.
Why don't you tell the people where they can find us one more time, buddy?
Well, thank you so much for listening to Tyson's 3-hour rant on Police Academy.
Stay tuned next week because we only talked about 1 to 4. I've got fucking 5 to 8 to talk about.
Thank you for joining us. We are on Stitcher. We are on iTunes. We are on every place that isn't Podbean. I don't know why we're not on Podbean. Anyway, we are even on YouTube.
We are on YouTube.
We're not on Spotify.
We're not on Spotify.
That's another conversation.
Because we don't want to get sued.
Exactly. But if you would like to rate, review... we've had a few new reviews, Tice. I saw that was kind of nice.
I haven't seen those. We should read them out.
We should.
Let's do that next week.
We'll do that next week if we have time. Because to be honest, it's going to be a very big episode.
Yeah, it will be. Well, that's nice. I appreciate it. We love the reviews. Thank you so much. That's very kind.
Thanks, guys. But other than that, we are on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you would like to send us some correspondence, we are at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
That's it.
But until next week.
I'll see you there, Nick.
Bye, Tys.
Bye, dude.
Bye.